Howdy folks, Keith Hershey here. This is going to be a video response to Matt's adventure binder video that he uploaded today. I know there's been quite a few notable people on the internet that have put up their adventure binders, like DMJ, Fistful of Dice, PhD&D, and there's been a couple other ones. I don't recall who they were off the top of my head. I'm sorry. Anyhow, I don't have any fancy cover art on mine just yet. It's still putting stuff in and whatnot. In the beginning here, I have a chart I use. It's a gemstone chart. It lists all the gems down here, the colors that they are, if they're transparent or not, and average value here. This I do believe I got from a packet that I requested from Esper when he was giving out parts of his old campaign setting. Esper has an excellent channel. If any of you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend it. He's under Esper Resper. Alright, moving on. Let's see here. Try to move the camera here where we can see it all. Alright. Next up here, I have the cheat sheet from Lazy Dungeon Master. Another really great resource for DMs. You can find that at slyflourish.com. He does sell that book. I highly recommend it. It will help cut down unnecessary prep for your games, and he gives a lot of techniques and shortcuts on getting rid of the unnecessary prep that won't affect your players' games. But this cheat sheet, it's got names, some NPC occupations, traits, ideas for quests, adventures, and here's the second page to it. It's got like dungeon locations, room details, artifacts, environmental effects, and so forth. Once again, highly recommend you check that out. Alright, my next section is where I have a lot of my dressings. And a big bulk of this stack here is called Dungeon Dressings, which you can find at drivethrurpg.com under Dungeon Dressings. And it's specific for different types of features within dungeons. They even have them for outdoor terrain like hills, swamps, stuff like that. Another great resource to check out. For a couple bucks you could pick up one or two of these. Anyhow, this first one's on altars. It'll go over different types of constructions, if you need like a break DC, hardness value. It goes over common protective spells, what you might find on top of the altar, hidden treasures, deadly traps. Then they usually have a couple random charts, like this one here's got features of it. So like one here is stout manacles are mortared into the altar. The key to the manacles is hidden in a grinning skull carving on the rear face of the altar. DC 20 perception check locates. That's one of the charts. This one here's got different features of it. A pool of dried melted wax almost covers the altar. Red and white wax mixed to form a lurid smear of color. So you can use this to add a little bit more flavor to some of the features within your rooms and whatnot. Once again, it goes over some traps, gives you some examples, some spells you might find that are included in the traps on these altars. let's see here. Yeah, so that's that. And you know, they got a whole bunch of stuff: altars, archways, doorways, fountains, statues, doors. Just about any feature you can find, they have uh, addressing for it. Let's see here. Then I got one for their hills as well. It's pretty good. It's got different features, different events you might have if your party is traveling through, say, hills, and you want to spice it up. That's in there. Um, that's pretty much that section there. My next section here is on some mundane treasures. Um, Instead of, you know, if in a room and they come and there's only like 50 gold piece worth of treasure, instead of just giving them 50 gold pieces, I like to throw little mundane items such as oh, and this, I think I got this from Ben's RPG pal. I don't know if he made it or if he's the one who first had a video going over little treasures. Here's an example. See here, 2 matching and very heavy silver bracelets inlaid with butterflies in turquoise and lapis lazuli. So that's, you know, kind of what it's like. So you can, you know, you can still give out 50 gold pieces, but you can give it out as something more than just a gold piece, and it might trigger another adventure hook. You know, they might come across a jade idol, you know, and it could look mundane, and you know, maybe you decide, you know, I'm gonna put a little bit of history behind that. You know, maybe that idol belonged to a long lost prince that disappeared years ago, or something. Or you might, you know, maybe even decide, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and give it some magical properties. Um, so that's that. Then I have some more charts that are very similar to this, that once again I got from Esper in his campaign setting, and he had it broken down into varying levels of worth. You know, like here's some 10 gold piece ones, like basic dartboard with darts, lock and key, you know, a couple javelins, stuff like that. Or here was one, brimmed hat with feather. Okay, those are some of the smaller ones. Here's some more expensive ones. Let's see here. Let me find a good one. Like, yeah, here's a good one. Ivory statuette. It's worth 250 gold piece, random creature. So you could say it was an ivory statuette of a pixie, you know, and you could give it some detail behind it as well. It kind of brightens it up, and people, your players will. Every time I pull that out and do that, the players are always interested in that stuff, and they always wonder, I wonder if there's any history or anything behind it. So, good way to spice things up. Next section I have is a bunch of adventure seeds and plots and whatnot. This is another great resource. I think every single binder I've seen has had this in it. You can get this from roleplayingtips.com. Sign up for his newsletter, and I believe this is free if you sign up for his newsletter. He's got really great tips he's always coming out with. Yeah, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. You know, this whole section is basically that. I got a couple other resources in here. There's forest encounters. I can't remember where I got this. 111 forest counters. Let's see, I'm trying to think. I thought there was one more in here. Oh yeah, I got another one here. 120 benign wilderness encounters. You know, so when you're going through wilderness or forest or whatnot, you can, you know, spice it up to where it's not always a monster. You know, maybe as the party's going through a forest, maybe they come across someone who recently died, and he's got a couple of arrows in his chest, and he's sitting down leaning up against a tree or something. You know, all kinds of cool stuff like that. I got some Pathfinder stuff. I've taken certain sections out that I've got placed throughout here. This one here's got, NPC backgrounds, goals, and whatnot. This is names, professions, and so forth. That's mainly what this is. I got another section I might be putting in here from roleplayingtips.com, I believe, the 3-line NPC section. Really good for creating NPCs pretty fast. So that'll be going in here as soon as I get it printed up. The next section here, use an encounter checklist. This is from slyflourish.com. Got a checklist for building out your encounters. Here's another page on a drinking contest. I saw this from DMJ's binder here. I'm not sure where I found it at. I saw it in there, and I just went out to the internet and started searching, and I finally found it. I'm sorry, I don't know where I found that at though. So, but it's got some cool stuff for drinking contests and token systems and whatnot. Alright, my next section here. This section here is just a bunch of random names I have available. And I got it broken down into elven male names, female names. I got them for dwarves, tieflings, dragonborn, a whole bunch of different names. So if I need one, I can flip to here, bam, and there we go. As far as finding random names, like if you're looking for a male tiefling name, just go to Google and put in, tiefling random name generator. Right? You'll usually get tons of hits. See, I got some more wilderness encounters here, and then back in the back here I have my notes from the Adventure Workshop series that's on the internet. On my channel I have a link to the playlist that has all the series in there. I think there's like 6 to 8 videos where Chris Perkins and Rodney Thompson go over how to create an adventure. It's really good. Highly recommend you go check that out. Another area here, I have Dungeon Master Johnny's ebook, in which he sells these. I highly recommend it. A really great system on how to create puzzles and riddles for your adventures. And he calls it like endless puzzles, and pretty much, yeah, there's no end to it. You can really customize it. You can roll on the chart, and you can totally have a random one, or you can go through the list and pick it out and make your own. Really good resource. If you're interested in it, send Dungeon Master Johnny on Facebook a message, and he'll give you the details on how to get that to you. And then the last section I have down here is 2 pages. I think I got this from Esper once again in his campaign packet, and this is a list of curses that you might hear in Dungeons and Dragons. Like, let me find. Yeah, this one's funny. Well, actually, there's 2 of them. I'll go over. Here's one. You smell like an ogre's belch. Yeah, pretty funny. But it's supposed to be an insult as well. Or here's another one. You are maggot pie served on a dwarf's codpiece. Yeah. See if that doesn't get someone's temper to flare up. Anyhow, that's my adventure binder. And as I believe with all GMs, it'll always be ever evolving as we take a look at each other's binders and techniques, and we take what works for us, and we'll and add it to your own flavor. Anyhow, happy gaming. Take it easy. We'll see you later.